Alright. Pause the music. Make it a bit louder. Let's get started, I'd say. Do we have anyone here? We have a couple people. Perfect. Overlay, go away. So I'm going to do this, like, if you have any specific questions or things you want to see, let me know. Otherwise, I will just poke around randomly. I have made some videos on YouTube where I try to show off all the new objects and sort of give a general overview of what the DLC is. So you can also look at those at any point at your convenience. But I'll sort of do it here again, I guess. Hello, hello. So, yeah, it's the next DLC. We have a grand campaign here. Ooh, good luck playing on the map. And you can tell me which map it is, too. Which, I can't, I'm not allowed to show the campaign itself on stream, but it has one big campaign with a lot of missions. I think it's 21. Ah, yes. And we also have 3 new civilizations, which are currently not for ranked, or not planned to be, or they're not for ranked, they're for unranked, and for single player, and for the campaign. But they do have sort of a different, like, partially it's a reskin of some units, and then they have some things that behave differently as well. Like double, two techs in Castle Age and Imperial Age. Fun stuff like that. Switch between things here. Also in the patch notes it said that switching would be faster. It's not really faster, but and then I also have no, not load games. The scenario that I made for my video. With a bunch of the new stuff in it. We can actually test how these oysters work. I think that might be fun to do. So let's just make ourselves a pond. Okay. Oh, that's an oyster. Yeah, there we go. Put some on the shoreline. Put some in the middle. And then we'll do player 1. Give me a fishing ship. And give me some villagers. And maybe like a drop-off site too. So we'll take maybe a mining camp, honestly. And a dock. We'll take a port as well. I haven't tested how anything works. I haven't played a game. I've just looked at what's available so far in the time that I had. So yeah, a bunch of content creators were given early access here to do a bit of advertising for the DLC and show it off. Port. One of these is a port, the other one is a dock. They both look the same right now. Okay, I think that's all we need for this test. Maybe like a mill. Grab a mill as well. let's just ignore all of that business and take a look here. So I didn't place a Limbos. Maybe I did place a Limbos. Or maybe it automatically spawns one of these. What is this? This is 2 attack, 1 range. This is like a scout, basically, isn't it? So I can turn it into an oystering ship. If I do this, does it turn into an oystering ship? It does. It probably turns back into a fishing ship if I do that. Can they... They can become an oyster gatherer. Where do they bring the oysters, though? That's what I'm wondering. Like, can I bring them? I can bring them to a port. Can I bring them to a dock? I can bring them to a dock, too. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Okay, they can be brought to a mining camp. That's what I would have guessed, I guess. Good to know. So in terms of, like, map scripting, this is perhaps the coolest thing for a map itself. There are a lot of units you could, and eye candy that you could add. Go. Like a bunch of cool things that you can use to decorate a map. This is all just decoration, though. The actual ships... Ah, it has a minimum range and a maximum range, the Leviathan. I feel like Scorpions and Mangonels don't do this. I'll have to test that. I wonder if the gold mining upgrades apply. Probably. Now, let me try something too. If I specifically set my civilization to something that isn't one of the new civs, and then test... Okay, yeah, okay, we had some of that stuff happening, and we destroyed the docks. That's fine. I cannot go oystering with these civs. Can villagers walk on? Can they walk on it? Yeah, okay, this is a non-solid, even though it looks like a gold mine. You can walk over it. I can still become an oyster gatherer. However, the ships... I think this is a bug. But yeah, these fishing ships can't gather from oysters unless you specifically have sort of the ancient mode enabled. Cool, cool. So let's quit that for now. Ultra high. Why is it an ultra high? That's a good question. A lot of trees, support game, antiquity mode. So if depending on whether or not this is enabled, that will. Well, the tooltip says to enable oysters and wood trading. We don't want quarry. Let's take a standard map because a bunch of the standard maps have been updated to include this antiquity mode. Basically to look a bit different. So let's take our coastal. Oh my god. Did I type here? Polo. There we go. Okay, so yeah, it spawns with oysters and no shorefish. Let me just pull up the map as well and we can take a peek. Just a second for me. Age of Empires, DE, DRS, Game Beta X2, Coastal. Let's see if I now show this on OBS. No. Try it again. Why is it capturing that window? Let's reboot Notepad. There we go. So, as you can see, they've they have a limited set of seasons. Specifically, they've removed some of the seasons for this antiquity mode. And then, if we have the antiquity mode active, we place oysters. And otherwise, we place the far gold instead. That's basically what this is telling me. And that's it. So we should check some of these here. I'll check if that's been updated as well. Migration, land matters, Mediterranean, Mishi, Northern Isles, rivers, team modes, team ability, Baltic, Black Forest, Budapest, eruption. Hideout, Hellfort, Marketplace, and all that. I want to see, okay, random map def has been updated. However, that's only a small update to add the oysters. And the marble cliffs. Unless something new has been snuck in since the last time I checked. Oysters weren't even in earlier. I think that was very recently added as a constant, predefined constant. Okay, nothing else is predefined. Let me check if F Seasons Inc. has been updated. No. 19. No, F Seasons Inc. is not updated. So why are there no shorefish? Shouldn't there normally be shorefish? Sure. Where are we preventing the shorefish from being created? If infinite resources, else if antiquity mode, create oysters. Create oysters. This is far gold original give. I feel like the shorefish are missing. Huh. Alright, let me just test something. We're going to try this again without the antiquity mode and see what happens. So we do have the shorefish. Oh, they're not called shorefish. They're going to be called Melkaraiba. Of course. No? It should be in the objects generation section, though. Be in our standard fish. Let's check if generating objects Inc. has been updated. No. Huh. Not sure why it's... how that's being implemented then. I must be missing something. Or maybe, wait, let's take another look at this. Are the oysters blocking min distance screw placement 20? They're blocking they're blocking the placement of shorefish because they have a huge min distance to group placement. That's what's happening. Interesting. If you guys want to see anything specific, let me know. Or if you want to ask any questions. Otherwise, I will just continue trying out some stuff. We can also actually spectate. See if anyone's playing. Possibly no one's playing right now. See if anyone's scheduling to play. No one seems to be doing it right now. Okay. Well, if there's nothing specific, I think what I'm going to do is just play like a skirmish game, honestly. I can see AI to try out each of the new civilizations, maybe. Yeah, let's do that. I still suspect that they're going to end up in ranked at some point, despite the difficulties of having to accommodate sort of a different style tech tree with different techs in it. Because while all the icons are different, this is still your, swordsman line. This is your spearman line, skirmisher, bowman, cavalry archer. It's all there. A couple things are different. We have supplies here. We have faster infantry here. We have arson here, and a lot of this stuff in basically Castle Age. I can share. I can't play the campaign on stream. I can share everything else. I can, I can open the game data and show you guys stuff there. Earlier actually I already showed the campaign screen, but I can't play the missions because fundamentally it's not like Victors and Vanquished where it's just campaign missions. They are adding new civilizations. However, the civilizations aren't in ranked. So it's still catering more towards the unranked and campaign player base. So this is basically the scout line, this is the paladin line, or knight line, and chariots are anti-infantry cavalry unit with trample damage. This is essentially the cataphract. So there's no camel here. Of course, we don't have chemistry-related units. And the ships, this is a melee ship. It's essentially the ship scouting line. You can trade, you can generate wood and gold when trading. If you're in the antiquity mode. Where's the fish? Okay, fishing ship is trained there, and then it can turn into an oystering ship. Oh. And then the ship. So this is okay. Yeah. So it's basically it's an economic port and a military port. Can it garrison? No. No. Okay, then it's a melee warship with a charge attack. Okay, this is just the galley. This is literally just the galley. Galley line, this is the demo line. So, strong versus catapult ship, weak versus galley and incendiary rafts. It's a melee ship. It's not really a fighter ship. Since apparently it's weak versus galleys. It's good against... I guess it's fast, and it's good against the ones with the minimum range. This is essentially like an onager ship, which is literally what it's called. Okay, this is a mangonel ship and an onager ship. This is probably a Thericidai. No, it's oh no, it's a Dromon. Probably. I don't know if it does splash attack. This is chemistry. Okay. Lighthouse. Yeah, that's the burning oil, whatever they. It's feeded shot. That's what it is. This is just the tower line, wall line. Spear and bow. Okay, this can swap between a spear and a bow. This is a catapult. Now we have 2 unique techs. Spearmen give pierce armor to nearby units. Disables read arrows upon being researched. Oh, you have to pick one of the 2 special techs. Ah, I think AoE 1 did this, didn't it? One of the games did this, or was it Mythology? I think AoE 1 does this. Read arrows. Okay, so it's essentially pierce armor versus ranged. War chariots trample more, or infantry and archers get extra HP. And the priestess is a monk. Okay, these are just all of the monk techs but renamed, yeah. Let's take a look at these here. Economic town center makes all nearby villagers gather faster, and a military town center makes military production buildings work faster. A defensive town center makes it stronger and makes it attack faster, okay. And they cost different resources depending on which one upgrade. This is the Archimedid special thing, though. Houses built faster? Okay, okay. Fine, the rest looks the same. So let's check. Check the Athenians. Policy style. Okay, so the town center can be changed as well. Oh, you can swap the town center, but it costs resources to switch between modes. Is basically the difference. Okay, lumberjacks generate food, hoplites faster, that's fine. And we'll see those when we get to them. This is, I mean, this is essentially the hand cannoneer, isn't it? Yeah, it's a hand cannoneer. It even requires chemistry, or essentially, yeah, makes sense. Okay, what does the hoplite? We didn't have hoplites as the. Yeah, we didn't have hoplites here, so let's take a look at what hoplites are. They're not like eagle units. They're more like tanky. It's more like a legionary, essentially. Strong infantry that's strong against other infantries, or jaguar warrior, I guess. Legionary is probably good. It's fun, you know, this tech still gives more bonus damage versus eagle warriors because you can play, of course, against modern civilizations. I wonder, like, do these... Actually, there's some fun stuff we can try. I've got to see if, like, you can get, like, an Imperial Skirmisher from an ally, like a Vietnamese ally or something like that. That could be fun. Let's test something like that out. So, yeah, we're going to be on the same team. And I I don't know. Let's do something better though. Give me like condottieri. And we'll start in resources ultra high. I should have just made a big match. Durability and firepower. 2-6. That's kind of slow. Haha, I can! Alright, that's cool. So you can get regional unique units. Benefiting from... Do I have anything that's good for infantry? Extra 15% HP? I feel like... Oh, I didn't research it. Oh, because you have to pick one, it probably doesn't come pre-researched on... Okay, so the square is now the range in which the aura acts here. It doesn't come pre-researched on post-imperial. Because you have to pick one of the texts, and they don't want to take that decision from you. And again, if you want to see anything specific, always ask away. Well, that'll be solved when we finish this construction. Let's speed up the game a bit. So yeah, I can pick each tech, right? Spearmen, archers. So if I were going for infantry, I'd do that. So let's see if my condottieri get plus 15% HP when this thing researches. Skip that one. Care about this one. So it's not available yet. You can probably pre-order it. Okay, that worked. Let me just check that if it's... I mean, there've been a couple announcements, like on the official Discord. There's an announcement. I'll just grab this. Paste this stuff. So there's an announcement. And there's the Steam page for it. I'll check the Steam page as well. You can probably pre-order it at this point. Yeah, I'm taking a look and it's going to come out on the 14th of November. So in 1 month. Currently also, in fact, there's a pre-purchase discount of minus 15% I'm seeing. Cool. Alright, so I really like, especially like I think we're gonna end up with these in ranked. I wonder if we're gonna end up with them, if it's gonna be like the Romans, where they add the new civs before the DLC is even fully released, like but like before it's available. 'Cause that's what happened with the Romans. Originally, they were supposed to be also an unranked and single-player only civ, but essentially they immediately added them into ranked. Like there might be some balance concerns, but it's probably not too bad. Alright, let's do some more poking around the tech tree, I'd say. So, yeah, we looked at them. We were looking at the Athenians. Hoplite. Or chariot, that's all fine. But the Lembos, the elite. It's actually a ship that costs food and wood. So you've got a trash. It is a scouting ship, but it is the trash ship. Also, you can get wood from trading. So this is cost gold. Yeah, okay. Catapult ship is expensive, and Leviathan is mega, mega expensive. Alright, what else have we got here? Ships receive 1+1 pierce armor. Fine. So, okay, the Athenian unique unit. They're doing a lot of units with aura effects, where they affect nearby units. It doesn't say what it's strong or weak against. It's heavy infantry. It has... Alright, it has 18 attack. Okay, that's pretty good. Fair. Alright, let's look at the possible castling Imperial Age techs. So, additional +1 attack to nearby melee units, and their aura becomes larger. Or, skirmishers get a charge attack. And here we have... Alright. 33% of hoplite gold is additional food. So how much are hoplites in terms of gold? So essentially it becomes 20 gold and 65 food. Okay. Or Bowman and Gast heroic. That's like a gunpowder. The hand cannoneer. Champion. Okay, okay. Okay, so you can change the policy. It's free. Okay, and then when each time you change it becomes more expensive until it costs you 150 gold to change. Villagers work faster. That's what you want at the beginning. Archers and warships train faster, or melee units train faster, and gain gold for killing units. So this is not an aura, this is just a mode for your entire civilization. Like, the Achaemenids can individually upgrade their town center into one of these three options. Well, the Athenians can essentially choose which bonus they need. You know, water map, you do this. Early game, you do this. Then at some point, you switch to this if you're going into archers or water map. And if you're going for melee units, you do that. Or you just keep your boom going and stay on the economic policy. Okay, and then the third civilization, which was the Spartans. That's Polar March. I thought that was a ship, wasn't it? No. I'll figure out what unit that is in a moment. Is it their unique unit? No. Civic Age, Classic. We'll keep an eye out for that one. Okay, more food. Hoplite, elite hoplite earlier. Okay, we have a second unique. Where is it available, though? From what building? Maybe it's just not... It's not in the barracks unless Am I blind? No, it's not in the barracks. Where is this trained? Not at the fort, that's the castle. Ah, from the town center. I think this cannot be trained. Or it's free. Okay, it's like a hero, essentially. It's a commander. I wonder if these things can keep you alive when you're otherwise... Although, no, someone kills it, and if you have no town centers left, you can't train a new one. They probably train slowly. Huh. Uninteresting. Alright. Barracks technologies research faster. So we've got the full infantry. We don't have the full archer upgrades. Cavalry is a bit shit. Quite shit. I mean, it's fine, I guess, in Castle Age, but it's a dead end after that. Okay. Only palisade walls? The palisade walls look different, by the way. And this one is, so all of them have an infantry unique unit. While I had to go help someone set up a printer, and that took way longer than it needed to. Which ultimately meant grabbing a cable, because setting up a printer over Wi-Fi sucks. So, do I want to look at anything further now is the question. Or nah. I think I was looking at the Spartan tech tree and I didn't quite finish that. So, perhaps I will go do that now. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's do that. And we saw the shit. I think, did we see the unique text? No. No, we didn't. We saw this. Ah, yeah, okay, we were about here. So, Spearmen, Skirmishers, Villagers trained 50% faster, although in Castle Age it's less useful. Or +3 if you're in a group of 30. Probably want this one. Bonus damage reduction, or forts generate gold. And warships trained faster. Well, this is the ultimate water stalemate tech, isn't it? Generate gold and train ships faster. And okay, we get him. Area radius. Okay, so that just gives extra bonuses. We have to pick one of them as well. Border radius makes them faster, or makes them regenerate HP. So regenerate HP or move faster. Let's see. Alright. Let's see if I can just do the typical. else first.
Kaire. Episitizomai.
Tiesti, aku neton tia, erkomai. Oikodomeo.
There we go. Alright. Well, that's a nice spot.
Prostagmata. Episitizomai. Kulotomeo.
I like the music. Let's just go to the next stage.
Oikodomeo. Kaire. Oikodomeo. Prostagmata. Tiesti. Kaire. Episitizomai. Prostagmata. Erkomai. Oikodomeo.
I could just have these gather gold. Sorry about the long-ass interruption. Looking like that was probably at least like half an hour interruption now. So we're researching the next stage. Okay, we've got some sheep. We'll send them to our ally. Can I research anything? I can get the scouting ship, right? See if it has auto scout. Get one of these to gather gold. Oh wait, the Lembos. Oh wait, guess I started with the Lembos. That should probably get auto scout, shouldn't it? That might be sensible. I'll suggest that. That? Yeah, they don't have auto scout. That's a bit of a shame. At least they are very fast. Okay, I got one of these. Okay, so we can see its aura. Okay, we have all our standard text available. Oh, you can toggle. 25, 70, 50, 75, 7. Okay, so you can choose which of these three options you want. Where's the economic dock located? Port? Shipyard is for military. Oh, that's the military shipyard.
Oikodomeo.
They should honestly do this split for the normal civilizations as well. Maybe. It has garrison space. Does it? Right. Well, no, it can't garrison. A fishing ship garrison? It can garrison. Oh, yes. Yes. This needs to happen for the water overhaul for all ships. Get ourselves a merchant ship, just for fun. The oysters, they don't turn up. Maybe they should be yellow like gold. Get some more villagers. Built the dock yet? He has not. Civic age buildings. What have we got? Let's build the standard ones.
Wood, please.
No, I haven't even built the market yet. It's just a foundation. Oh, there's another cool thing actually we can try out. You can waypoint. You can waypoint units that you create. Like if we create a Warland bus, once we have pop space for it. And it should follow my waypoints. So we'll see if it does that. That could be useful if you need to guide units somewhere without like running into a castle. Watch this, look at this. Amazing. Levy. Okay, this is just standard. I want to... That probably requires Castle Age. The villagers are harder to see. This villager skin, I feel. There's less white on that outfit. Guess we could say that we wanted to make him really strong. I want a castle to try out the new things that we get there. Towers for fun. So we get our shitty cavalry. This one pierce armor. Let's see, so what do we get in terms of... Okay, we get fishing ships better. Heavy then, boy. Ships move faster, yeah. Have they built a dock yet? No.
Build a navy.
Relics might be hard to find with these white dots looking very similar. The oysters need to look different. Maybe. But so I can already get elite. Get 3 of them. Then upgrade that. Oh, I wanted a castle, didn't I?
Tiestin.
The idle villager mod's gonna have to be updated for these villager skins as well, isn't it?
Oikodomeo.
A bunch of things are gonna be have to be updated probably.
Itheles. Poieso. Oikodomeo. Ne?
It's just yeah, always get a second one right.
Hetone.
So if I don't get an error message, but I want to. Now, if one of them dies, then I can train a new one for free. Kinda slowly, though. That's cool that it... I think we want to have it. Probably want to have regenerate. That would be the sensible thing, what I'd say.
Wood, please.
Okay, so they have +2 because there are 2 of them nearby. Now, if this guy moves away, then it becomes +1. 12. Wait, this has 1 nearby enhancement count. Ah, interesting. Oh, it's giving armor, not attack, sorry. That's nice to have that indicator. It's not AoE 1. Look, it's AoE 2. It's also in the AoE 2 dataset. Like these civilizations and the units are in the AoE 2 data file. There is an announcement. I posted in chat earlier. I will post it again. There we go. Group. There are 3 new civs. It could be the stepping stone for doing it. Like, honestly, this is the type of thing that should exist. Like, we have a civilian and military split. Economic and military split for the port and shipyard. Villagers can garrison, or fishing ships can garrison in the dock. They can't garrison in that one, of course. And we have some melee ships and so on. At least some of this you could, like, this stuff might be good to carry over, I'd say. But yeah, no, fundamentally it's in AoE 2. Unlike the other DLC, the Return of Rome. One is an economic dock and one is a military dock. Here we have just the AoE 2 dock, but then if we go look at one of our new civs, we have economic ships and military ships. And then we don't have a page 2 on either dock. Catapult ship. I guess this is kind of like a Dromon.
Tiestin.
So the castle, yeah. Numerous skirmish villagers train faster. 310. Okay, I think I have +3. This is probably what you'd normally want to do. We can do this for fun.
Wood, please.
So yeah, fundamentally you have in terms of ships, you have... This is actually, it is in the economic dock, but it's a melee ship. It's a scout ship, basically. It doesn't have auto scout, though. They should add that. Then you have a fishing ship, you have a trading ship, and you have a transport ship. And then you have a charge attack melee ship, like a strong melee ship versus the trash melee ship. Then you have the galley line, you have the demo line, then you have onager, mangonel onager, and then you have, like, I don't know, your siege ship, basically. The fun thing is that you can put all of these things. You can put the oysters. You can give players a ship like this as a starting ship on an app script. Okay, or you could remove the attack. I mean, even now with a heavy Lembos, okay, now it's 8. I can't really test it because I set this as an allied player right now. Did they build a dock yet? I told them to build a navy. They have not built a navy. It's very disappointing.
Build a navy.
In Dark Age, it has only... Okay, well now it shows 8. It had like 2 attack in Dark Age. Am I in imp yet? Speed up time. So what's this? Okay, we get another upgrade for basically our hero unit. Or you can pick 2. Infantry receive less bonus damage, or forts generate gold, and warships train faster. I like that this gives bonus versus Eagle Warriors. Like, they're consciously planning that, you know, you play against the AV2 civs. If you don't want to buy this DLC, you can still access the content probably in the scenario editor, certainly via a map script. You won't be able to play with the new civs. You won't be able to play the campaign. You will be able to play against the new civs in like an unranked lobby. And if you're playing in a tournament, well, you'll have to use the civs that you have the DLC for, or the base game civs. Alright, let's train a Leviathan. I wanted to do that. Where is the Leviathan? Ah, that Leviathan spawn is here. What am I missing to unlock a Leviathan? It requires chemistry, basically. Okay. Diversity, yeah. Ah, the new trade rates here at the market are also in. Let's see. Heavy Lemboy to elite. You have a trash ship, which is interesting. We should... I should set up like a big naval battle in the scenario editor. And I have the condottiere from my Italian ally. That's actually why I originally made this match, because I wanted to test. That's why I have him as an ally. I wanted to test this. can absolutely get this. And what bonuses am I benefiting from? Am I getting the? It doesn't show you which ones you picked. Eh. Guess you have to check the tech tree to find out what you picked, or remember what you picked. It doesn't. Does any of this apply to Condottieri? I guess so. This would. He still hasn't built a navy. Lazy AI. I build my Leviathan yet? No, chemistry is still being researched. Now can I attack ground?
Wood, please.
I mean, if this DLC does well, they probably will do more Chronicles. It kind of has a big minimum range. If this is really only 3 tiles? Yeah. There's, oh, or it's the enhancement radius, maybe. Yeah, it's probably the enhancement radius. That's basically a tributary, okay. I mean, these guys have no gunpowder, but they have the equivalents, right? They even have a hand cannon here. They don't have siege gunpowder, but that's okay. And they have a different ship, but flaming arrows is essentially chemistry here. Let's set up a big naval battle. Oh yeah, if you haven't seen it already, there's a bunch of new stuff for like scenery that is nice if you're designing a scenario and could be nice on the map too. And of course 2 new architecture sets. Let's go with tents and regional skins for everything basically. You could also potentially give like some of these regional skins to American civs or come up with regional options there just so that they finally have a siege ship. What I wanted to do, place ships. Um, so they don't link up. Basically, they are individual Gaia units that you can rotate. You can use set facet to pick a specific rotation, I suppose, but you can't. They're not actually walls as such. Let me find one of them like the Mediterranean courtyard walls, right? It's like a courtyard wall Did I even place that one? I think I didn't place that one in my overview before. Look at that. I missed one. You can rotate them with the right click here. Howdy, howdy. So they do not place like walls, but you can line them up so that they look like walls. It's basically for scenario designers. I didn't put these in my overview. Mediterranean courtyard walls. Anyway, I was gonna have a fight though on water, so let's just give me like a Lembos. And a Leviathan. And maybe like a Monotreme. And maybe a Byrene. Byrene. And like a War Lembos. Maybe like an Elite War Lembos too. Elite Lembos. Yeah. Basically, it's a bunch of cool stuff, but this is all eye candy. You know, you got your treasure chests. You've got a million different fences and hedges. You have some statues. You have some siege. You have some shipwrecks. You have some leather working equipment. I made a YouTube video where I also went over all of the stuff that's in, all the stuff that's in this scenario. There are no new terrains. The most directly interesting thing for map scripting is probably the oysters as a water gold source. Alright, what are we going to face these guys off against? Let's just take, like, galleys. Galleons? Let's do war galleys. Alright. Send in... Alright, so send in the melee ships. These, they have a charge attack, don't they? So that's much more devastating. These are... They're actually shooting fire. They're not so impressive. Well, if I just charge in a Warland boss? Eh. Then it rams, okay. Send in the elite Lembos. These are, remember, these are trash ships. They don't cost gold. Oh, they do have 3 range. They're... Oh, okay, the original, the small Lembos has only 1 range. So they turn into sort of fire ships, basically. Okay, this thing is OP. If it doesn't get rushed down. Let me add the Mediterranean walls, though. I forgot to put these in my overview. I guess I didn't see them. I was trying to with Advanced Genie Editor and looking through the list of stuff, trying to find anything, but suppose I missed some things. Mediterranean courtyard walls. Just put down here some rotations for everyone to see. like that. Mm, what else is there to say? New type of cliff. I didn't mention it on stream yet. The new one is this one here. This is called marble. It doesn't look very different. It's like a mix between the granite and the snow cliff. I mean, I guess they essentially play. It makes the ships more interesting, right? Because you have. Uh, because it gives you a bit more variety. I guess this starts with range 1, range 2, range 3, range 3. So this, essentially this becomes like it's a fire ship. Yeah. Essentially it's a fire ship but costs trash and isn't as strong. Then we have the ram ship, which is like the expensive fire ship. Strong versus. I guess it must have armor against the Lemboy or something like that. These have pierce armor. These have melee armor. Am I reading this correctly? Yeah. These have a bit of both. These are demo ships. Yeah, no new animals. I guess they didn't need any for Greece and Mesopotamia. I mean, what would you add in that part of the world that we don't already have? Nothing immediately comes to mind. I'm sure there are some good options. Do they have siege engineers? Yeah. So supposedly the only thing this changes, well, it changes the map. You can check for antiquity mode in a map script. I showed that off earlier. Like this is the coastal map script. But you can also select antiquity mode in either version of the. In either, you don't have to be in this Greek thing. We can just go here, and we can still pick the civilizations. We can still pick antiquity mode if we wanted to. They should still be here. Yeah, now we've got our oysters. I like the idea. I don't know. I feel like okay, they certainly look like gold, but maybe it looks a bit out of place. Yeah, this is a good question. Like, what animals would be cool to have added? Well, like, if we did more in Africa, you could certainly have like a hippo. Having penguins be a proper animal without having to modify it, that could be cool. What other animals are we missing that are prominent? Like bison, buffalo, something like that. if for an American DLC probably would make sense. Um, we sort of, I mean, you could add more deer type ungulates, but got a decent coverage. You could add like elk or something like that, maybe. Elk, moose, reindeer. Something was taking place in the north. Yeah, you could have large ungulates like that. Got camels. Yeah, bison would be good. What else? Jungle creatures, maybe? I mean, you could have like great apes, but I'm not sure where they would fit in the food slash predator setup for animals. What else could we have? We really need more like boar alternatives for colder regions. If I go to Rome, I shouldn't see any of... Yeah, then here we only have our AoE 1 civs. Actually, if I just compare the tech tree. Yeah, okay, so we have the AoE 1 tech tree here. If we look at the ship situation, we have the Trireme War Galley. Juggernaut catapult. So you can see how what they've done is sort of a blend between AoE 1 and AoE 2 on water. Ooh, polar bears, that's a good point actually. And maybe a little bit regional. What else? Oh yeah, walrus or sea elephant, sea lions, sea elephants. That type of coastal creature is definitely an option. Whales. Whales have made appearances in other AoE 2 games. Giraffes, just because they look cool, sure, yeah. Kangaroos? Well, that's true. You could do a bit of Australian stuff. Kangaroos would fit there. Hippos, but snakes might be a bit small. Capybara, sure. I mean, a puma is basically a jaguar, but with a different name. Although that's boring. Now they've done that kind of. But a puma is just what you call a jaguar in certain parts of the world. I think. Let's see if we can spectate anyone playing now. Must be someone playing, right? Check if anyone was planning to find a game. Loading up, that's 8. 9:27. Oh, they might be hosting one right now. Maybe they didn't have spectators enabled. Oh yeah, join my clan if you want. If you want a clan tag. Aha, there we go. Do I want to join the game? Screw it, why not? They have tiny. I spectate wrong. Uh, do a match. Let's see if Capture Age can work for this. Okay, we threw as a big variety of animals. Blue carbon cup. While I'm waiting, I'm going to go read about this. Oysters will be added to the game. Contest until the 16th of November. Perfect, that's lots of time. Should even be in that Discord still. See if they started? Ooh, they have. Perfect. Arabia, come on, they need to do water. That's what all the fun thing is. If you do a land map, it's like hoplites and a couple of unique units and techs. Water is where the fun stuff is. I'm gonna boot up Capture Age. I'm not sure if it'll work for this, but we'll try. How are we doing in the game? We're still loading. Okay. The starting age, ending age, none. Fine. So let me see if Capture Age. Yes. All right. I need to get Capture Age into OBS. Give me a second. Where is it? Capture Age. Chat for Capture Age. Hiding this chat. You can also hide DE in the background. There we go. Actually, of course Capture Age is going to work for this already because Capture Age developed this DLC. That was also announced. They were the ones that made this DLC, which is also fun because they were hiring like scenario designers, AI scripters, map scripters about I think it's a year and a half ago now. I actually applied at the time, but essentially what was more important for them was having a scenario designer, and the other roles were secondary. And I was always wondering what they were making, and turns out it was this. Water Gold Rush. That could be interesting. Anyway, let's see. I mean, in Dark Age... Okay, there are actually some relevant bonuses, aren't there? Which I do not know off the top of my head. We have Arkham... I'm gonna mess... Achaemenids. I just keep wanting to say Archimedeans, but it's Achaemenids versus Athenians. I'm actually going to go into game. You guys can keep watching. I'm going to check out that tech tree. Shipyards work faster. That doesn't happen. Town center can be upgraded to a more powerful one in Castle, Civic Age, Second Age. Stable technologies. Okay, none of that. Houses are built faster. Meanwhile, the Athenians have a policy where their town center can be in a different policy, which is going to start out being the economic policy where villagers work faster. Later you could change it to have archers train faster and cost less gold, or melee ones train faster. It's cool that we have regional skins. However, I find they're not as easy to distinguish the units. Like maybe the proportions are more realistic with the small heads, but it makes it harder to tell from a distance what you're looking at. Is this mismanaging the town center? Yes, it is. Everything is butchered underneath here. But I mean, it's fine. We still have some goods here. Meanwhile, here we also have, you know, various things decaying in different places. Let's see. Can we actually see what the town center mode is in? No. Also, I realized I was not... okay, there we go. Back to Capture Age. We also can't see the mode here, and we have missing string. Missing strings galore.
Mandatum.
That will all be fixed, presumably. I wonder why the string is missing, because the houses aren't a new object. Just the skin for them is. They added some new objects, but houses aren't one of them. Oh, is it? Yeah, they called something different. Maybe they're called. Maybe they have a different name that's not called a lumber camp. Let me check in game again. It's called a house. It's called a mill. It's called a town center. I don't know. I mean, Capture Age reads the memory, right? So maybe some of the strings were shifted around, and that's causing issues. Alright, so we're going for a stable with the Athenians, which is fine. Move the game window over here so it's out of the way. They should have played a water map. Honestly, this will play out. You've got a few different civilization bonuses and you can change the work mode of your TC, but this is going to play out kinda similar to a normal Arabia game. Which is another example of why they could probably end up putting these into ranked. I would not be surprised if that happens. And I'd be only somewhat surprised if it happens relatively soon even. So these are also missing a string. That makes sense though, because they're called like They're not called Scout Cavalry, they're called something different in game. Actually, they are called Scout Cavalry. I don't know why it's missing a string. Probably because the graphics are new. Or it's... I don't know. I mean, the Scout Rush is working. Missing string is under attack. Alright, so Cap Trade isn't pulling in the, like, Civic Age icon and stuff like that. But it is pulling the actual unit icons.
Yes. Yes.
Market Blacksmith it is. And the Castle Age is already well underway. Okay, scouts are coming in for another raid, and the wood line should be secure. The gold could be a juicy target. Yeah, time to evacuate the gold miners.
Ready.
Although Castle Age will be in. What are we gonna have? Stable as well. And we're making some of the spearman line. Meanwhile, over here, what are we going for? We walled out the front. This is the fancy new Palisade skin, actually. This looks quite cool. I like the new look for the Palisade wall. This is only walled in front. And, you know, at risk of being opened up. And where... Okay, we pulled the scouts back here. This is one. That's not a reason to evacuate the wood line. Yet. Ah, we have a chariot, though. That might be a reason to evacuate the wood line. While there are only 3 new civs, it would be a bit lame to only have them play against each other the whole time. It might be that they're actually not as much balance would be needed as I originally thought. Like, you have a couple units that are different. You have the chariot, you have the hoplite, and you have the ships. But it's not all that much. The chariot deals trample damage. Take a look at the stats on one of these things. Nice. Not so impressive, actually. I have 100 health. That's pretty good. If they wanted to have a separate ladder, they really need, like, 2 more Chronicles DLCs. Then you have 9 civilizations, then you can start talking about doing that. Yeah, that's the knight line right there. Alright, so Castle Age is incoming, the walls are in. There's a hole here, because the berries were part of the wall. But it's not a hole if you don't see it. This is, I think, turning this into an economic town center, I think. which boosts villagers in a radius around it. Missing strings under attack. No. Yeah, so Capture Age pulls all this data from your RAM or from your memory. But that's why some of the beta units as well are missing their names. Okay, well the spearmen just were butchered by these chariots. I'm not sure what the counter to chariots is. Probably like heavy infantry. Or maybe ranged units. They have no pierce armor. We've made it to Castle Age. We're only training villagers though. That's gonna be a problem with all these chariots roaming around. I mean, with these resources, you could probably just like... What have we got? Have we got a stable? Just make some knights. It would be hard too, actually, for casters and for casual viewers, because all the standard units have different names. So, you know, you're being attacked by a maceman instead of a militia or a man-at-arms. Man-at-arms. A levy is the militia. Like, that would take some adjustment just because everything has different names. I think train some units with all of these resources. Pump out some hoplites or something. Aww. Statistics. Missing string versus missing string. I would have been probably decimated in this matchup. Let's switch off Capture Age, go back to DE. Get our chat back. There we go. Let's actually see statistics. Does anything look different? Not really. Looks about the same except for the icons. Let me check if they're going to play another round. Also, if you're a map scripter and you want something else to work on, there is the Alchemy League is making a set of maps placed in Germany, and there is a modest prize pool for that as well. And they're in desperate need of more people to sign up to make maps. Well, the deadline to announce that you're interested in it was originally Sunday, but they didn't have enough, so it was extended to probably midnight today. In reality, though, if you come at a later point and say, or if you are a bit later and still say raise interest, I'm sure they'd be interested, given that currently we have 1, 2, maybe 4 people 5. They were looking to have at least 8 maps, so... I am pleased to announce that bids are now open for the German map creation contest in the next season of Alchemy League. And I've agreed to the following. Bids must be in by... Okay, that's the date. They must be based on the attached PDF with 10 potential maps. To bid, 2 things must be done. You must react to this post declaring your interest to make a map number corresponding to one of the ones in the PDF, and send a message stating your intentions for the map. That being said, it's not like a bidding war with a lot of people. It's sort of, I think, there will be a modest number of maps, it seems to be. It is, yeah. Well, at least he's involved in that. I've been doing a bit there. All this stuff on GitHub I don't like that much. All the GitHub pages always take a long time to load. But I guess it's alright. I understand. The other interesting one though is the Blue Carbon Cup, which we had just announced right now. And that's, you have until like, we have a month to make something there. Let me see if they're doing another round. See if they do another match. It would probably be like some sort of water-based map for a Blue Carbon Cup, or a lot of heavy water or mangroves and stuff, and we could definitely use the oysters in that. Some cool options. Ah, they have a 4v4. They're still playing on Arabia. Oh, come on, guys. Do that. Play on Arabia. We want to see some water action. Capture H again. They can. There's like a little tick box for antiquity mode in the lobby. Ticking that also allows you to trade, or means that you trade for wood and gold when you do trading. Without it, we'll have to wait and see what it's like on release. I think they might be making some changes there. But yeah, it currently doesn't work. But the only other thing that antiquity mode does is change how trade cogs. I wonder actually how that trade will work for the other civilizations. I guess there's just an extra button as well, maybe. Alright, let's boot up Capture Age again. Should be... There we go. OBS. Chat for Capture Age. Capture Age. Normal chat. Bam. I did a bit of testing in the scenario editor earlier, and yeah, it doesn't work for the non-DLC civs yet. Okay, so the trade cogs do that. That's cool. I mean, it means you get less gold when you're using trade cogs, but you do get wood, which is interesting. I don't know if we trade carts do it too. I think it's only cogs, right? Or is it both? So what have we got here? We have Athenians, Spartans. I believe the junk's not working with ports was already reported? Maybe someone reported that, I think. And there's a similar issue too, actually, where someone told me where donkeys don't work with the neutral market. Because the problem is the building needs to have a task set for the unit that can trade with it. So they didn't, when they made the neutral market, they didn't set donkeys to it, which is similarly probably when they made the port, they didn't set junks to it. Ah, you reported it. Okay, perfect. I remember reading about it, yeah. Well, there is some water. We may see ships. There are no oysters. Despite the fact that I'm pretty sure they do have antiquity mode enabled. I'll check that. Yes. Maybe antiquity mode doesn't add oysters on Arabia. Probably doesn't. I mean, it would be kind of at the risk of being unbalanced if, the 3 lakes here all had gold in them, while the 0 lakes here did not have any gold in them. There is no deer. Is that true? This thing looks like a deer to me.
No. No.
They're just deer over there too. Plenty of deer. Couldn't find it. This is also true. I was looking at coastal, and the way that they disabled the shorefish was just to give the oysters a giant minimum distance. Which is a bit crude, but it does the job. They didn't change the generating objects inc file at all. You could even change like the oysters, maybe pick one of the swordfish and call them whales or something. I can show what happened on coastal. Although my notepad window is below, so let me just scoot the notepad window up a bit. Oop. So essentially, to prevent shorefish from spawning on coastal, they just have a huge min distance group placement for the oysters. Let's take a peek. Do we have anything unique coming in yet? We should be getting the Spartan hero unit. This guy.
Mandatum?
Okay, he's just standing around. Archipelago. Yeah, it definitely could. I think perhaps they're not even placed after everything else, honestly. Like the Far Stone, the Home Straggle, a bunch of stuff is still placed after. Maybe that's why the fish were so far away. We can take another peek at some of the maps themselves. They should have hired a map scripter. They should have hired me. On a part-time basis for this. Oh, I can report that afterwards. Especially if they did the same thing on a bunch of maps, because like, not all of them, but a good like 20, 30 maps have been updated.
Yay.
I'll see our free hero unit is hiding in the TC. Yeah, it's more of like a general. There we go. Huh. I'll take a look at. I only really looked at coastal, to be honest. I will maybe we should take a look at how the oysters are done on the other maps. Like, I wouldn't even say that it's clear that you want to prevent shorefish from spawning necessarily. You could just have them spawn in addition to the oysters. Perhaps just adding a temp and distance group placement instead of the distance is what they should do. So we have basically spearmen on our hero unit. He's not regenerating yet. Put a tech for that, I think. You know what? We have time. Not too much going on. Let's just poke around a bit more in the... So, date modified. Open up migration. See what they did in migration. Let's call it... The antiquity mode is antic. That's what I need to look for. Migration. Alright, okay, they've done it differently on different maps. Anyway, I'll take a longer look at that after this game, I'd say.
No. No. Yay. Ready.
Do we have anything against these archers? No. So we're going to have to... Okay, this wood line... At least there's a route to evacuate it. Okay.
Mandatum.
Town center is doing a good defense. Meanwhile, we've got roaming scouts here. Oh dear. No, don't. Now's not a good time to be building the market. I guess you might need it for Castle Age. That's the problem. Super close on resources for Castle Age, but... Got the wood. Maybe just plop down something back here. See, this is why I'm saying it's not very far-fetched to imagine that they put them into ranked. Because this is exactly how you play the AoE 2 civs. At least in the early game. Market's up. And the archers are dead.
Yay.
They are also... This is true. But... There aren't so many... Like, you have unique skins, but the majority of the units are actually the same. Overall, I'd say. True, of course, they are only 2 players. What have we got here? We have...
Yay.
This is like man-at-arms. No, it's a spearman. It's a guardsman. Pikeman. What else have we got? Villager, archer, scout.
Mandatum. Ready. Yay. Ready. Ready.
They're invisible.
Ready. Ready.
No? Maybe not. With this unit.
Ready. Mandatum. Ready. Mandatum.
Is it? It's gotta be that. Yeah.
Mandatum.
I don't know why I was centering on an invisible area.
Ready. Yay. Ready. Yay.
Apparently there's one here that's invisible. Or it's just that their graphics angle is very offset. Some other, like their anchor point for the graphics is super offset for this kind of unit, maybe?
Ready. Yay. Mandatum. Ready. Mandatum.
Yeah, something's not right with that unit. If I pick these archers...
Mandatum. Yay. Ready. Mandatum. Yay. Ready.
The swordsman line has something weird going on. Wait, I'm scooting over slowly. Alright. How are we doing? Lightwing, do we have any... Ooh.
Ready.
It would help if I knew what these units were, and they didn't have missing string on them. Switch to the main game and I'll take a peek. The ones with the white shield are the hoplites. The other ones are the guardsmen, yeah. Do we see anything else unique? There's a villager. Okay, well, that's fine. I'll switch back to Capture Age.
Yay.
This is like a long swordsman. I think it's called a swordsman in this version. Yeah, this is true. Actually, for players who care mostly about ranked and the competitive aspect, it would be quite a bit easier if the names and the graphics aligned with what you expect them to look like a bit more. Like this is all right in term for some sort of swordsman, but if the other stuff aligned a bit more closely, I think that would be easier. Do we see anything exciting happening in terms of units? We've got a scorpion. That's just... It is just a scorpion. I don't know why the string is missing for that, too. I mean, they have 10 attack. Although it's the swordsman line that has the bonus versus buildings. Also got a fight here.
Mandatum. Ready.
This is rough. I mean, the one mangonel, one scorpion. This might be over. Well, not yet, but gonna have to get some good shots off.
Yay.
And that is a good shot. Meanwhile, the others... Okay, they chased down all the villagers that were trying to escape. Castle coming forward? Okay. Ambitious walls. So the whole armies are all a bit more infantry based. So all of the unique units are infantry. Wow. Oh boy. That's an unfortunate way to lose a lot of archers. Now this is the knight. Although it looks like a step lancer. And we have a massive infantry battle. They should buff the nearby units somewhat, depending on which upgrades you pick. I think our red and blue team here are well in a position to win this. Yep, exactly. This castle is not looking happy. Elite hoplites. Ooh. Although, actually, if we look at this bar up here, yeah. How many do we have coming? Two. Two more. Eh. It's probably over. I mean, this has... probably worth just killing this foundation at this point. And we, I like the priestess, the female monk. Hey, the voice, it's playing the male sounds. I'm gonna check in game if how she sounds there if I click on her.
Ne? Kettoime.
Okay, yeah, she does have female voices in game. I might be too late. It's a nice army, but
Yay. Mandatum ready.
will it be enough? Depends on how good they are against cavalry, but it's just mostly heavy. It's like heavy infantry as such. They don't have an attack bonus versus cavalry.
Mandatum ready.
Let's see this fight.
Yay.
Are there? No, it's a bunch of hoplites, right? They do have a lot of HP. And they are winning the fight. How much does one of these have? 70 hit points, okay.
Mandatum ready.
They do have decent melee armor. Okay, they have 5 melee armor. That is pretty good. I'm gonna check what sounds they make in game as well. Conversion sounds? Yeah. Oh.
Yay.
Mangonel saves the day. Where is the raiding party? There is no raiding party. There are stone walls coming in. There's a nice new fortified wall skin too. There's 25. Things have actually militarily shifted. Economically, though, 100 villagers has to lead to a better military.
Presto, Presto.
Yes, I think it probably did get destroyed, didn't it? So we're not seeing any chariots this time around. Ooh, okay, there we go.
Mandatum?
Yeah, the villagers, they don't look as... They're not as easy to see in the collection of other units. That's a bit the issue I have with a lot of these skins, that it's hard to tell exactly what the units are. They look too similar. The AoE 2 units really do a good job of, at a distance, telling you what they are. They're raiding here, but at the same time, this is not looking good here either. Emergency castle. I think once this gets cleaned up, if it does, normal build order, yeah, probably.
Clinton?
Yeah, I mean, they are villagers, but
Yay?
like they look too similar to.
Ready.
Greeting?
Mandatum
Ready.
ready.
Mandat?
Yay.
Greeting?
Ready.
Yay?
Yay.
Ready.
Mandatum
Yay?
ready.
Greeting? Mandat?
To other units, I find. See here, can one hoplite? No. Could all of these do something about the archers? Probably. Is this raid at an end soon? Probably. Oh, there's a trebuchet being trained. This has a unique name, but it is just a treb. Oh, you're right, the Spartans get elite hoplites in Castle Age. Now, what are these units? It's just the scout line. There's a whole bunch of them. It should probably be sent to raid instead. But they will clean this up. With the castle fire to help out. GG for who?
Yes.
For them? It's not really GG. At least not the way that they think. Green is still so far behind, despite the fact that the push was cleared. It's nowhere near GG, especially when you look at this and this. Red just needs to push. I don't think I put the kings in. I can... Remind me in like 10 minutes if you're still here. I think I only... Like, I put in all the buildings. I did not put in all the units. I tried to only put in the units that had a unique name. Or that were actually new objects. But I'll check. I'll check that, and I'll check out how they've changed, how they've added oysters to all the maps. I feel like this should be GG here. The onager might just stall it out a bit, but really this push should. Should clear out base if it weren't, if these traps were a bit better protected. And there wasn't one ram allowed to take them out.
Mandatum?
Kill the ram, yeah. You also have the interesting thing, right, where you have two Castle Age, two Imperial Age unique techs, but you always have to pick one of them, which disables the other one. How are the Scorpions doing here? Not so great, they're all dead. Like, what's the counter to the heavy infantry units? I guess it's archers. They probably don't have great pierce armor. I actually have decent pierce armor even. Interesting. I mean, it wasn't GG, but they probably felt that they couldn't push into this. Alright, I'm going to quit cap trade. And... we're going to load. I loaded something else. Good enough. King you wanted to see, right? That looks like a Shah because I'm currently Turks. Right. It looks like a scholar, sort of. That just looks... Oh, that's Armenians. Yeah, it's like a guy in a toga. Spartans. Yeah, same. Bombard towers look like the Western European. They don't have a unique bombard tower, fortunately. Alright, so let's just take a look at the maps that have been changed. I need Notepad. And alright, we're gonna start with migration. Actually, let's take a you noticed that Archipelago was weird. Let's look at that one. Okay. There we go. Alright. Alright, why need antiquity mode? Why do I not have antiquity? There's no option actually in the scenario editor to choose antiquity mode. Maybe I need to change my player to... Maybe I need to launch a game. Wait. Maybe it uses the last mode that I had in single player. Or maybe it just doesn't do Arkham, or maybe it just doesn't do it in the editor. Probably doesn't do it in the editor. Yeah, I can't. I would need to define it. Probably the scenario editor doesn't do it on its own, even though I'm in this mode. But I can't edit the official scripts. That won't work. It won't show it here, right? If I do coastal here, I'm not going to get them either, right? Yeah, I'd have to copy them over and edit them. But we'll just do it in single player. Because it's something that that they added that to the non-localized key value strings. Pretty sure I checked that. Where did they add it? Yeah, they added it to non-localized key value strings. So it'll be true if the box is ticked in the lobby. You could originally, and then at some point they made the change where you can't edit the official maps, or doing so doesn't have any effect. Probably to reduce the number of out-of-syncs that happen, but it makes it a bit harder if you want to test something on the official maps. I mean, I could, but it's not going to work. Like if I put a, a comment here, it's still going to generate Archipelago. Reveal map, all visible. Or you can also do a thing now where you can select you can choose a selection of civs. You can star them, and then you can play with all the starred ones, I think. If I did this, it should be one of these three. Let's not do coastal forest. Did we get one of the three? Yeah, they got. So here we've got the. Did I picked coastal when I was gonna pick Archipelago, right? Or that happens, I guess. Come on, I just commented out. Maybe I shouldn't have commented out the entire script. Time to reboot the game. Okay, let's see. Maybe you can edit them in situ after all. Find my... So if I did something like this, then it shouldn't... Oh, that wouldn't help here, though, in this case. If I do it here, then we shouldn't see oysters on Archipelago. Do not crash on me. Right. Maybe they can't be edited. For that reason. That's not what I remember happening when you edited the maps. Or maybe it's an issue with Archipelago. Let's edit Coastal and see if it crashes there as well. That's not what I remember happening. Oh. Let's just place Shorefish instead. And see if Coastal crashes when I do this. Fun thing is because I disabled all my mods ahead of streaming here so that we would have a nice look, it doesn't actually pop up the window asking me to re-enable mods. Alright, Coastal. Crash? Alright. You can't edit the official maps because it will crash. That's not what it did before, but it's what it does now, apparently. Unless my civilization choice with the starred civilizations is causing the issue. Huh. I feel like this is new. I don't think it crashed when you did this. It just had no effect. Okay, yeah. Don't edit it because it crashes. So, yeah. As you can see on Coastal, all the fish are trapped in this corner because of the silly thing they did with the oysters. I'm gonna have to report that one. Alright, so... Close Coastal. Check what they did on Archipelago. So there seem to be a lot of oysters around the center. And then like one pile on each island. That might be an intentional choice. So how have they implemented it? They're doing it find closest to map center. Ah, dear. Number of objects, 2. Set place for every player. Number of groups, 3. Okay, they're scaling it by player. Putting it on the map center. Okay, that seems like a conscious decision, at least, to do it in that specific way. Alright, then I have migration open. We'll check that one next. Did your scripts, did you update? I mean, so they have been updated, but that might have just been other updates that you did. Or have oysters been added to them too? Well, they're closest to the center, but if the central island isn't round, then yeah. Okay, they seem to have done a similar thing here on migration. Basically the same thing. Yeah, just the implementation on coastal is shit. Okay, what other maps? Okay, I'm just gonna boot up a bunch of them. Move this over. Land Madness, Mediterranean, Mishi, Northern Isles, Rivers, Team Moats, Team Islands, Acclivity, Acropolis, Alpine Lakes, Amazon Tunnel, Arena, Baltic, Black Forest, Budapest, Continental, Eruption, Fortress, Four Lakes, Gold Rush, Golden Pit, Hideout, Highland, Hill Fort, Islands, Marketplace, Nile Delta, Nomad, Oasis, Seize the Mountain, Valley, Volcanic Islands, Wolf Hill, Yucatan, Arabia. So on Arabia, Antiquity mode only changes the themes. On Yucatan, it changes the forest to be Mediterranean instead of jungle. Fine. And it changes cypress trees. And it does not add oysters. Wolf Hill makes snow less likely. Great. Volcanic Island adds oysters. Ah, and they've added the oysters, the silly oysters code from Coastal. Which presumably is blocking all the fish. I don't know what Volcanic Island... I think they're normally fish everywhere here. I don't know what this map normally looks like, though. But it's probably an issue, yeah. Valley is not much. Seize the Mountain. Seize the Mountain adds oysters, okay. Yeah, there was one in the right corner. Which suggests to me that there should be fish everywhere normally. There is actually an easy way to test that too. I could just do this. And then we see, yeah, they're actually supposed to be shorefish everywhere. Ah. Recheck the box. Okay. Another fishless map, perhaps? So this one has oysters everywhere. The oysters have still a fairly large min-distance to group placement. But they're happening after all the other objects are generated, so it probably doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Yeah, it shouldn't matter in this case. Oasis? Doesn't have oysters in the middle. Nomad. Find closest to map center. Why are we putting them to the closest to the center on Nomad? Nomad is round these days. I mean, it's just on part of the coast. At least they're not making the fish avoid by a huge distance. Yeah, that looks surprisingly okay. They're just scattered around the outside. This may not scale up so well for... I mean, I guess if you have more players, it's fine, but we're scaling them by player number. I'm replacing a couple closest to the map edge. But Nomad doesn't have players starting in their player positions. So why are we placing them for every... Don't know. Not sold on this implementation here. Nile Delta. Ooh, someone added some code for team positions. Temp mid distance. Good job. I feel like I reported this 5 years ago. You only catch it though if you have syntax highlighting. And it probably makes no difference because it just ignores this, but that typo was never caught. So here the oysters are actually in the ocean. Yeah, it should be to place on. If you don't have syntax highlighting though, it's easy to type something like that, think it's working because you actually see the boulders. Although I don't see the boulders. I do see the boulders, they're just in the ocean. Right! Time to report another bug. Or maybe they regressed to an older version of Nile Delta? Yeah, I feel like they're being placed in the ocean. Ah. Is there a third one? There's 3 boulders, and they're all standing in the ocean. And if I change it to place, the game is going to crash. Okay, so that's... I'm taking a screenshot of each of the ones that needs fixing, and I'll make a list. That's just a theme, that's fine. Islands. Stone, oysters, oysters, else we create gold and stone. That's a sensible thing to do because the oysters are a gold source. Okay, so everyone starts with a pile of oysters on the closest to the player, yeah. So to find closest. Yep. Fun how you need to ignore terrain restrictions as well, probably, to place them as player objects at all. And then there are a couple that are closest to the center, which ends up not being placed at all. Because they're being placed for every player, and they ignored they didn't add ignore terrain restrictions for the central oysters, so central oysters didn't play. Let me just start typing this stuff up in Notepad. So, coastal fish blocked by oysters. Volcanic island ditto. Nile Delta typo with African rocks. What else did we find? Islands, central oysters missing. Okay. Hillfort. Island. That one could conceivably, it doesn't though. Okay. Hideout. So the land maps, they basically took out the tropical. They took out the jungle and tropical trees. Could definitely do a water gold rush now. Okay, Four Lakes has some oysters code. And the oysters are just somewhere in the lake. Probably want to have it be a bit more consistent, but overall that's fine. Number of objects 2, 3, number of groups 2, so it's going to player number. Min distance to group placement 15. Fine. This might cause issues when you have more players. Then you would have more groups. But their temp distance remains high. You might have unequal goals in some of the lakes, potentially. That would require checking with more players. It might be okay. Maybe the temp distance is enough to prevent that from happening. Fortress? Eruption. Ooh, alright. Now we're just changing the terrains. Okay. Wait, updated for Antiquity mode in November 2023? It's been around that long, the Antiquity mode? November 2023. So they waited... They made these changes 11 months ago. I guess probably a lot of art assets had to be created. And that took time. Plus they wanted to... the campaign had to be created. That also takes a lot of time, while doing this is relatively easy. Alright, Continental. That's another fine candidate for issues. Continental? Start game. Wow, if you want something that looks horribly unbalanced, look at the fine amount of oysters that are close to blue on this player, this generation. Well, red has 2. Blue doesn't have any super close, but blue has a million of them close to the center. Continental and maybe others. Central oyster. Access imbalance. Alright. See what else we've got. Budapest. They had oysters? No. Antiquity mode. So this is a subset of antiquity mode. If antiquity mode, we're creating water. No, creating shallows on the water. Else, we're creating shallows on the water, but doing it differently. On Baltic. Because there's a little shallow with relics in it, isn't it? And they're going to put oysters on the shallows or something. That's probably what it is. You say that, there are no shallows. And I see 2 relics on the whole map. 3, 4. Okay, what do they do here? What have they done? If tiny map, set avoid player start area is 60. Well, that is probably too much. Alright. Baltic Relic Island missing. Missing. Let's see what else. Yeah, presumably the 60 is too far away from players to create the Relic Island. We're also creating oysters, setting them 3 for every player in a specific actor area. And the actor area is placed on the shallows. But if the shallows don't spawn, then the actor area doesn't spawn, so those oysters don't spawn. Maybe it's just a freak generation, but this generation with this not showing me the seed. Isn't it supposed to show you the seed? Maybe it's only in Rex. Let's boot up another Baltic, just to be safe about this. Okay, this is what they want to happen. Better. But perhaps 60 is too much of a distance. Alright, what have we got next? Arena. Amazon Tunnel? Alpine Lakes? Acropolis. Okay, they added 1 more extra gold on the desert. Where is Acropolis? I'm blind. Okay. Fine. They added those, and then there's no shorefish. Shore. Milk. Okay. So Acropolis, the oysters are blocking the shorefish as well. Acropolis. Shorefish. What else have we got? We should be getting through with this list. Clivity. Team Islands. adds them with a temperament distance of group placement of 50. It's pretty big. Let's see what we see in Team Islands. Oysters are a gold source that can be gathered by villagers or by fishing ships. If antiquity mode is active, then fishing ships can gather. Villagers can always gather it, and it can be placed on water or on beaches by default. So let's see here. I see 3, and then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. Team Islands. Let's count the oysters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the other players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. Team Islands. There's not. Oyster count not equal per team because they're doing set place for every player. Blind closest, but they're ignoring trainer sections, which means that it can end up on the other players. Yeah. This stuff was implemented more than 2 months ago, but yeah. It's in AoE 3 you have whales, right? You can hunt them for gold. Same idea. Or fish them for gold. Okay. Let's see, Team Islands, Team Moats. Team Moats adds oysters. Somehow I feel that this can't go right, but maybe. No, not the Grand Campaign. Moats. Go. Okay, so Team Moats added a bunch of oysters. And added them after the shorefish, so the shorefish are still able to be placed. Set place. You can't do both of these things, but fine. Scaling to player. Actually, you can do neither of these things, since they're not being placed as player objects. None of these are being placed as player objects. Which means there's probably an imbalance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Yeah, blue carbon cup is happening. Okay, team emotes, come on. Per player. What next? Rivers. Rivers adds oysters. Okay. And they're all in the Central Islands, except for... Man, the oyster placement seriously needs some work. They're being placed on land? Oh. I mean, fine? That's fine. We probably didn't define icy shore. Alright, so the oysters place for every player. Find closest map center. Okay, so got a lot of stuff to unpack here. Rivers, frozen theme. Oysters placed on land. Rivers, player oysters can end up on a central island. Hey, the whole oyster generation needs a look at by someone who has time to debug it all properly. Okay, next up. Northern Isles. Alright, they just plopped some oysters at the end of Northern Isles. Okay. Northern Isles. Alright, and they're all around the center, which that's a decent solution. Is that what they intend to do as well? Find close to map center. Fine. That's fine. Nishi. Mediterranean. Well, that one's gonna have oysters. I think that's okay with the distance that they used here. I mean, they put them everywhere. Fine. Fine. Land madness? Random map def? Need. Okay, well, I think we are through with the oyster check. Alright. Anyone in chat who still wants to see something, speak up now. Otherwise, I will likely end the stream in a moment. And go report the oyster issues. Can have leather rugs now. The treasure chest, like I could, for a pile of gold, you could make it look like a treasure chest, or coins are a bit too sparse. I think it was 450, wasn't it? Oh, don't. Well, let me select 450. Yeah. They surely do. I mean, on the official maps, they were mostly ignoring terrain restrictions to place them anyway because they're being placed by per player. But for completeness sake. It's isn't it? It's Shallows Mangrove, yeah. Yeah. Actually, perhaps they don't place here, since shorefish don't place by default on mangrove shallows. Well, they do. Well, shorefish do not. All right. What else? Yeah, so I have two YouTube videos. One where I was going over the stuff that I placed in that scenario. Not every single object, but now that the DLC is announced, I can go and update like the constants list. I can briefly show what Advanced Genie Editor has in it. Tools builds, Advanced Genie Editor, OBS, Notepad hide, Advanced Genie Editor show. There we go. Open. So basically, they left a big gap in the data where you could have another conventional DLC. We'll just add more units. And then they start at 2,100. And a lot of units have several copies in there. Which surely has a reason. There's also an unconvertible goat. You could place it as a scout on a map if you want. Maybe. And the civs as well have been added to the main AoE2 dataset. Although it's not really displaying the architecture set correctly. They don't share one with these civilizations here. Surely there are a pile of new effects that have been added, yeah. Big gap as well. So you could use various auras, nearby units get 1 melee armor and so on. There are a bunch of different effects like that. Probably there's also a gap within techs. Yeah, no new terrains. Lots of unused terrains, but no new terrains at this time. Yep. Alright. Then I'm going to wish you all a good day, a good evening, a good night. And hope you enjoyed this overview. Could stream some more at some point, although I think pretty much covered a lot of it. Yeah, thanks for joining. Yep, good night.